Anyone that knows me are aware of one of many and the greatest gifts that I exercise regularly: common sense, and the ability to encourage the proper use of it with themselves. You see, because without acknowledgement and regular use of it, what good are you to anyone else, and especially to self? It is the sole reason for the bottom of the bucket thought processes, alienating words, and self-diminishing actions. I have learned how to find out about anyone, the real them. Allow them comfortability, along with time, and all shall be revealed. The questions are, what, if anything, was learned by any party? What are their moves going forward? You see, many rely on my ability to make them face themselves, the best and worst enemy that they ever will face. Thank you for tagging me in once again. The likes, subscriptions, and especially the shares not only keep the channel growing, but does the most important thing: helps get the message to others who may have some uses for it. I appreciate you. I remember listening to the church sermons when my grandmother would take me to church with her. Ultimately, I would get the best sleep that I've ever had in the church house, but not after hearing the pastor constantly mentioning the enemy this, the devil that. Not one time do I recall the pastors preaching self-accountability. It was pray and be forgiven. That does nothing for self-accountability. In fact, it promotes lack of self-accountability. Because let the pastors tell you, you can be the most despicable person in the world. You can be the most gayest person in the world, and God will forgive you. Which to me doesn't make any sense, because homosexuality is against what the Bible says. But I digress, and I'm not going to continue down that rabbit hole. In my opinion, what that does say is, hey, fuck up as much as you want. Pray and everything will be okay. That is a lie, and things do not work out that way. As I speak from experience, proven experience, it's also practices in blame shifting, thus never peering into the reflective glass to check oneself, as so many do not. In addition to the most important action afterwards, of which is doing the work. Everything that I have done, both personally and professionally, involved doing the work. The imperative thing is that doing the work makes time more valuable, along with the rewards for doing the work, for others, and more critically, for self. To ensure that one is operating within the proper boundaries of humility, honesty, etc. Once again, for self. Too many are consumed with passing the buck in areas of their lives that they have the most control of. I do not get one bitching about government and or states and how they do things, are all within the parameters of not being self-sufficient. How are you going to complain about the food that was cooked and laid out for you when you could have made your own meal, seasoned it the way that you liked it, omitted any ingredients that you did not want in it, to complain about what another entity is doing when you control that, when you have the ultimate control of that, which goes back to the topic of dealing with your best and worst enemy. You. All said, conquer your best and worst enemy, and you shall have this life thing licked to the point your adaptation skills will be superb and unfuckwittable. And that's the reality.